Yes.
Got it. Got it. Okay, I'm leaving you now. Oh, see, now look. Now it says if I go to leave, it's the end. Wait a minute. Make host. Now I've got to make you host again. So we've got the recording going. I'm not the host. Check your red light and make sure that when I leave, it stays on. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Try then. Take 2. See ya.
And then remain for 2 seconds to see.
Well, if I will, oh, you could just, yeah. Just message me. Do you want to do that?
Leave, yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. It's all good. Hi, hello, CB. How are you? Welcome. CB? Hello.
Hi, Henry. I was just struggling to unmute.
Oh, Mulangira. Happy to hear from you.
Happy to hear from you too. How are you doing?
I am better than good. What a good September month. I get to hear from you.
Good. So far, so good in God's grace.
Amen, amen, amen.
All right, I'll be looking forward to the discussion, the deliberations, and comparing notes and seeing how we can continue thriving amidst all the different difficult hurdles.
We need to, and I'm happy that you are here. Probably I will invite you to share some thoughts. This is really a dialogue. It's not very academic. Some of the people I was expecting to work with are either at work or traveling from work. Juliet, you're welcome, and Lily.
Hello, Henry. Thank you.
Yeah.
How are you, everybody?
Hello. Which Lillian is this, or Lily?
Lillian Iguamanya Henry. So.
Hey!
meeting yabanyu Canadians.
Juliet, which Juliet is this? Hello?
Hello?
Juliet.
This is Juliet Mbabazi.
Oh, Juliet Mbabazi, happy to hear from you, sister.
Mwanyoko, hey, happy to hear from you too.
Yes, it's always good. You know, when you come to such, I'm going to call them leadership meetings, it is very important to show your face.
I'm here.
And you are the best. I wish I had a prize. I would give it to you. I also know that some people are at work. They may not be on camera or they're traveling, but at least they are committed to log in and to listen to the words of wisdom from people like you and Lillian and Charles. Yes, so friends, it's about 5 minutes after 6. I'm going to request that we begin. And also people will join us as we go along. We should be done by 7:30. And why I'm asking that we begin, we have to respect your time. But also, if we're ready to confront some of the fears internally we are facing, whether it is due to COVID or the weather or being vaccinated, at times we need to respect time. So if you agree with me, I'm going to call this dialogue to order with a volunteer to start with a word of prayer, if you do believe in prayer, or a moment of silence or reflection. Any volunteer to start our conversation with prayer? Eva, you're most welcome. CB, may I pick up on you to give us an opening word?
All right. So Henry and everybody else, I'm so glad to be part of this dialogue. Just from work, and I'm going home, but I was able to join this conversation, and I thought it would be important for me to attend and also listen in. I'm not an expert in any way, form, or format, but at least we have different experiences. And as we as we engage and dialogue, I think on a personal note, I need to have a few reflections on a few things. Now, if you recall, in the summer of 2019, we've had unprecedented issues in regards to the issues of anti-Black racism, and that has been brought to light by so many different factors, and it's particular for the Floyd death that happened in the US, and I think in different corners of our work environments, I think this has been one of the topical issues in terms of looking at anti-Black racism and also systemic racism at different levels. And I think it's worth giving a little bit of reflection to that, because we come from different places and we're all Black people, as Ugandans. And I think it's important to have that reflection. And also the other thing I needed to also reflect, based on the history of this country, we have the indigenous people, and there's been so many different tragic discoveries that happen, the children who have died in different places, Kamloops and different parts of Canada. And I think it's worth having those kind of reflections as well, as we came from far and wide to be part of the society. I think there's that meaningful reflection to how we fit in and also appreciate the land where we are situated in. Now, having said that, I think it's a very important topic in how we thrive, how we survive during the fall and beyond. This is the fall, and for those who immigrated in this country, being the first to come to, living Uganda or living wherever you were and experiencing the fall for the first time, the experience is quite different. There's what is called the summer, the fall blues. Even there's the summer blues and the different concepts of how people feel about that. And I'll talk about my personal experience briefly as I open this. When I first left Uganda in 2003, I went to I went to school in the United States, and it was during the fall, so this resonates with me in terms of looking at the fall and beyond, and it was quite different in terms of looking at the different cultural aspects and the cultural shock, and also recognizing that you're far away from home, and you just find yourself alone and lonely, which is quite fundamental. And to me, that was something that I had to grapple with. Now, we are all here. We came from different places. Those have been here way longer, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. There are those who have been here for 2 years, maybe, I don't think a year because of the COVID. I don't think there's anyone who may have come during the COVID period. So I think the list of a person who has been in this country is about 18 months to 2 years. So we've all gone through this different kind of how do we survive during fall? How do we survive and thrive amidst the distance of our family members? How do we engage as Ugandans in this part of the world? How do we collaborate and how do we move forward? And I think that should be something that is worth reflecting, worth thinking about. But having said that, my 2 cents is having a connection with people friends at the workspaces where we are, I think is very, very critical, but also appreciating the different resources we have as Ugandans. It might not be so much, but within the society where we live, so long as you're within the GTA, there are different resources that we can tap into. But what has made this fall quite different is because of the pandemic, which is so unprecedented and no world has seen this before. So this fall is going to be different, just like last year. And there's going to be that issues of isolation and reflecting on your own. That some people have been working during the pandemic, especially for those in essential services. And there are those who have not been working in essential services, like maybe police work. It is that return to work program in terms of phasing in and how going back to work is going to look like. So all these are fundamental questions that we have to really put into perspective and look at different factors and how we can support ourselves as Ugandans during these times. For those who are new, we have a great community network. We have Henry and many others out there who can really support us in moving forward in terms of, how do we keep our heads above the water? How do we survive during this kind of fall? And how do we look beyond in different aspects? We have jobs, we have education, and many different other factors. There are those going through immigration challenges. I've not had the immigration hearings or decisions and so forth. So this adds to different layers of how we survive. Either it pulls us back, but how do we thrive and live above those kind of fundamental pillars? So with these few remarks, I just say thank you so much for being part of this dialogue. As I said, I'm not an expert, but together we can make a little bit of contribution and compare notes at different angles and appreciate one another as a people. So with that, I would say welcome everybody and thank you for the invitation, Henry. And I look forward to being part of this engagement. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charles. And what a very warm opening remark statement around really looking at where we have come from. Charles, you mentioned some things some things that are very, very important. And I want to welcome Sam and Adam and Mark. And one is around anti-Black racism. Yes, I am in agreement with you that as we try to do business the way it is or it was, we cannot forget that we are new to this country. We, in terms of our skin color or in terms of experiences, the system may not really accommodate us, irrespective of the skills and qualifications we bring. Secondly, the systemic racism and exclusion and division that we encounter on a daily basis, that impacts on how we move forward. And of course, we cannot afford to mention that this land that we live, thrive, and work actually belonged to the indigenous peoples of the New Credit Nation and Haudenosaunee and Huron-Wendat. And the people who are the inhabitants of this land have not been treated with fairness and justice. And just recently, we've seen what was in the news in June, July, whereby mass graves are being discovered. And all these things have an impact on us as Black people. And so comes the epidemic of COVID-19, where, of course, the people who have lost jobs, it's mostly the immigrant or racialized communities. People who are finding it hard to get redeployed or re-employed are also Black people. But also, as we are trying to look beyond the summer into the fall and winter, again, we notice that it is sort of hard for us to regain our sanity. Many of us are experiencing unprecedented levels of anxiety and depression. Many of us within our African or immigrant communities, we don't have the skills of coping with challenges. Some of us have not had our immigration hearings. And again, those things impact on our mental wellness. But like Charles emphasized, I think we can do something about it. Us sitting on the sidelines is not going to help. And I think this dialogue can be a starting point. So I want to thank everyone who has joined us this evening. Being a Friday when people, some are at work, some are driving, some want to, get home and relax. I think I really have to pay special tribute to you guys. But very importantly, I have to thank the team at New African Canadians. I can see Mark Rugulwa. I saw Sam Ochen. I see Juliet Mbabazi, Nengelise at yahoo.fr, Adam Ada, and others, Lillian. I think it speaks to the fact that we all need to thrive in the fall and beyond, and that's why we're here. So with those words that are opening, I echo what Charles is saying, that we're in this together. No one is an expert, at least I am not, but at least I believe when we work together, we will try to address some of the tension, some of the anxiety that we face. And so I want to welcome you all and invite people to share some reflections, but also to maybe introduce themselves now that we are a small group. If you are comfortable, I'm going to start with Juliet. Juliet, tell us briefly your name and where you are, and maybe why you think this topic is important. After Juliet, we'll have Lily and Mark and Nengelise. As we wait for Juliet to unmute. Juliet? Okay, we will wait for Juliet, and then let's go to Lillian. Lillian?
My name is Lillian Bianjoro. What else did you ask, Henry?
Your name, where you're calling from, if you're comfortable, and why you think this topic is important.
Okay, my name is Lillian Bianjoro. I am calling from Etobicoke. That's my residence. I think this topic is important because a lot of people suffer in silence. They don't know the actual resources out there that could help. So maybe just, you know, hearing from one another, just letting people know that they're not alone. There's people out there in the same situations, and you know, it's been a tough year. The last 2 years have been tough, but just to let people know that we're together. You know, we're hanging in there. We're doing this together. You know, they're not alone. I think it's important to let people know that. You know, so it's important for sure.
Thank you very much, Lillian. The emphasis on collectively supporting each other, that we're in this together, is so important. And let's hear from Mark, and let's also welcome Ponciano, Mary, Adam, Boke, and Lynn, and Jackie.
Ponciano here. Hi, everyone. Greetings from Quebec. I hope everyone is well.
Hi, Ponciano. Welcome from Quebec. Ponciano, tell us briefly what made you come to this dialogue session on thriving beyond the fall.
I know I'm on the road. I hope the noise will allow me to communicate properly, but there's a lot, of course, that most people have been going through. You've got a situation that not so many people expected to happen. COVID came in, so many people's expectations were watered down, and we feel so many people are facing different challenges differently. And I expect to learn like best practice on how some of you guys are managing, so that I could pick 1 or 2 things on how I can better my life. There's a lot I can say, but I've just called in. Let me first listen to get the better perspective of how everything is moving on. I should be able to chime in whenever an opportunity comes in. But briefly, I expect to learn a lot about how you guys are coping up, and if it can help me get better as well, aware and good. Briefly, that's what I could say.
Thank you, Ponciano from Montreal, Quebec. Very much appreciated. I think we all need to learn from each other. What has worked in Etobicoke could help someone who is in Scarborough or in Montreal or in Brampton. So thank you, Ponciano. Let's hear from Mary.
And I'm back. I heard you calling my name. I'd excuse myself a little.
Okay, so as we prepare for Mary, let's hear from Juliet.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you, Henry. My name is Juliet Imbabazi. I'm at East York, near Main Street Subway Station, just 4 stops from there. What made me come to this dialogue was like to connect. It's been a while. And this is my second fall. I've been here for 18 months now. Yeah, basically it is to connect and how to learn from each one of you on how really to move on in the fall. My first fall was entirely in lockdown. I was still in the shelter. This is my fall outside the shelter. So I'm here to learn from each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Juliet. It's very important to learn from everyone, but also experiencing fall as someone who was in the shelter last time, and now you are out by yourself. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's hear a couple, and then we'll get into a more deeper discussion. Sam and Jackie and Mary, are you ready to share something? And then
okay, my name is Mary. I'm currently in Brampton. I guess this is my 4th fall season. So, well, I haven't learned a lot. What I can say is that when it happens, like when we have the fall season, it's just a matter of just dressing to the weather, and then, you know, going out to work and coming back home. You just need to make sure that you are dressed well, and then you don't contract any cold or anything like that, so that you can prevent yourself from cold. Or yeah. So that's all I can say for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, and welcome from Brampton. Just dressing for the fall is very important. You know, small aspects that sometimes we take for granted. And so preparing, just like we prepare for the summer and the winter, it's also very important to prepare for the fall. Nendelise and Sam, any thoughts?
Thanks, Henry, and thanks, members. I don't have any thoughts personally. I came to do more of listening and to, yeah, in fact, to listen. I'm more open to listening than to talking today.
And maybe before you go, do you want to tell us your name and where you are calling from?
Yeah, my name is Sam. I'm calling from Scarborough, St. Clair and Victoria Park intersection.
Thank you, Sam. And Sam, I'm also curious to hear why you want to listen. Any particular reason you want to listen, and what do you want to listen for? Maybe people might learn from what you want to listen.
Yeah, I want to listen because there are many mental health issues going on. So listening, I have a feeling that I could pick 1 or 2 things could help out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And it's very important what Sam is saying, that it's okay to listen, because there are so many mental stressors that we are facing. And so having just to listen to people sharing their stories or their experiences, we can get some hope. I can see the numbers are growing. We welcome Sham Shamran, Mary, Daphne Sison, Geoffrey Chigundu, and I think who else? Michael Utwama. Let's hear maybe from one or two, and then we'll move on. Nengalise? Nengalise, are you ready? Okay, not yet. Mark, are you ready? Mark told me they were at work and they just wanted to listen in. So friends, anyone who wants to share before we get into the next conversation?
Hi, this is Jackie. I'm from Etobicoke.
Hi, Jackie.
Well, this is something very good you've organized, Henry, because a lot of people are going through a lot of issues, especially with the pandemic. And I noticed some people are new, and that too can be a challenge. But just to give them a little bit of advice, it's not like the fact that you're new, it doesn't mean that everything like we the ones that have lived here a bit longer get to experience it differently. Every year it's different for everybody. So it's not like it's new for you alone. Whenever it starts to get cold, it feels as though it's new for us as well. But what I can say is, like one of the members mentioned, you need to dress warm. You need to ensure that you keep sanitized at all times. Just assume that wherever you touch, anything you touch, you're touching a germ, and you have to sanitize immediately. That is the only way you can help protect yourself from contracting anything that's going around. That is my advice.
Thank you, Jackie. Really appreciate. I don't wonder which Jackie is this.
Jackie Onassis.
Jackie Onassis.
Jackie
Okay.
O.
Jackie O. Thank
Yeah.
you. So friends, as we continue this dialogue, I also want to bring to attention something very important. I know some people joined a little bit late. We talked about some of the systemic barriers that we face as newcomers and immigrants. For us to stand out and to be counted, it is going to be very helpful or important to bring out ourselves. And one such a thing is, even on a call like this, friends, I'm encouraging you to show your faces when you're on Zoom. You don't know what that means. Your potential or your next employer could be on this Zoom. But if you don't show your face, if you only type your one name and you don't want to say the next one, you may be missing an opportunity. And people who are employers, they are on Zoom, they're on WhatsApp, they're on social media, they're on LinkedIn. And once they notice how you present yourself, how you communicate, and even your face, you stand a chance. And so if we are really to be courageous enough, even showing our faces would be a step in the right direction. Coming onto these Zooms is okay, but also being present in this meeting is also very important. So if you can, my invitation, friends, is put on that video. If you really believe that we can beat the epidemic, if you believe that we can actually learn as a team, as Africans, as immigrants, because we need each other beyond this epidemic. We need to know who is who. That's why I'm asking people to introduce themselves where they are. I could be in Brampton and I'm in need of support. I could be in Scarborough and I know it's Sam. So friends, I just wanted to highlight that very important key. And some of these things, they don't teach us in class. I know some of the people here are in school, but you know what they teach us in class? It's either, I don't know, Canadian history but simple things of even how to behave in a meeting, or how to do Zoom calls. And if we learn these small techniques, we're going to be able to not only thrive beyond the fall, but we'll be useful citizens, and we will be able to beat the anxiety, beat the depression, and we will enjoy a good life as we will be connected to our communities. So friends, at this moment, I want to welcome everyone and now get into another session. Before I do so, I want to acknowledge Samalin Subuga, Samuel Chen, who else here? Mark Nuvurwa. I see that's Daphne Sison, I don't know which Irene, Vin Rose, Grace, and all people from the New African Canadian, Ida Nanyonjo, from the New African Canadians community. Friends, we all need each other. And so I cannot emphasize enough the need to connect with people who are either doing these things or have some experience. Someone has been here for 4 years, another for 2. I actually have a friend who has been here for less than a year. So Charles, there are people who have been in Canada for 9 months, 8 months. I have a friend who has been here for 1 year and 3 months. They promised to be on this call. And so if we are to address the anxiety related to COVID-19 and other issues, how are we going to do this? How are we going to cope with the storm? How about those of us who do not have legal status? How about those of us who have not gone for our immigration hearings? How about those of us who have been laid off? And many of us are underemployed. Our qualifications back home are not being recognized in this country. What can we do? How do we beat the system? I want to open the discussion to everyone to share their input. I'll be calling out names, and if you're okay, you can state your name and where you're calling from and your contribution. Wumi, you're welcome, and Michael, thanks for showing your faces.
Thank you.
Yes. Any questions, comments, Mr. Chigundu, Jackie, Mary, Lynn, Ida, Samali?
Thank you, Henry, for organizing. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Chigundu. I'm here in Milton. This is a very good discussion, and thank you very much, Henry, for this discussion. Yes, please. I'm not really prepared to make any comments, but I agree with what you said, that a number of things have to be explored. But what I usually tell people when I talk to newcomers, I tell them that we need to have faith So keep believing that we are on the right track. Never lose hope. Keep believing, keep the self-belief, believe in yourself, focus. Please have goals. It's very good to have written goals. What do you want to accomplish in the next 6 months? What do you want to accomplish in the next 1 year, in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years? And please keep going. It's also very good now that we have the Zoom. This is very good. It's very, very good to keep in touch with the community. Keep in touch with people. Ask around. Like Henry said, you never know who can help. Just a few weeks ago, no, a few months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months, a friend of mine called. She had somebody, a young man who had just completed university, who was looking for a job in the IT. I said, can you help? I didn't know how to help. I said, well, let him get in touch with me. I can find out. And then I remembered a friend who works in IT, and I referred him to him. And then, yeah, a few weeks later, oh, I thank you very much. I've got something. So again, it is very, very good to talk to people. Don't keep to yourself. Talk to people. Keep sharing. Share about your situation. It is very, very helpful because anybody can be able to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the words of wisdom, Geoffrey, and it's very important. Friends, hear what he started with. Have goals. With or without COVID, we need to have goals. As immigrants who are newcomers to this land, we all, when we are in our places in Africa, whether it's south, east, west, we dream of coming to this country. When we arrive, what are we met with? But how do we respond? I think apart from even the 3 months goals, even we can have weekly goals, daily goals, yearly goals, 3-year goals, and also connecting. Thank you again, Geoffrey, for sharing that story of connecting someone and they got that job. It could be a reference for a job. It could be a reference to return to school. You could be having your car that has broken down and someone is there to help you. I know of a friend here who helps newcomers get bookings for their G1 licenses. But how does this person connect? He comes to dialogues like these. He comes to WhatsApp groups. He talks to people. And guess what? Instead of having your booking in 2022, he can get it for you. I have a friend on this call. He helps friends move. He has a moving company. But how does he connect with people? By coming to such dialogue sessions. And so I cannot emphasize enough that coming and showing up, but also doing the work after. There is a chance that many of us are going to leave this dialogue session empowered and energized. There is a chance people are going to say great things about organizing such sessions. But I think what is going to be very key, if we're to survive the fall and beyond, is really putting whatever we've learned into action. There is a chance that some of us, 2 weeks from now, are going to go back to where we were. Maybe a month from now, we may be going back and doing things the way they are. So the question is, how do we maintain the momentum so that we get to 2022 with a different mindset, so that we change the way we do things? How are we going to do that? And that is the question for you and me. Any other comments or questions? Welcome, Mike, Shamran, Lukwago, Fred, Charles, welcome back, and Mary, and the rest. What do you think about what Geoffrey just said? Yes, Shamran, introduce briefly yourself, where you're calling from, and your question or comment.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shamran Ahmed Rafiki. I'm calling from North York. I'm so happy to be with you guys here. And thank you, Henry, for organizing this. It's really, really, really important that we have such platforms. Yeah, I'd like to share something with fellow newcomers. It's really important to know the reason why you're here. For whatever reason you came to Canada, that should be your primary emphasis. Many came for protection, many came for greener pastures. So if you know what you came here for, that will be the primary goal, the primary reason to whatever that should drive you. And then once you try to settle here, you should, making the right friends, it's really, really key in everything. So if you have the right type of friend, the friend that will advise you wisely, they will help you navigate through the systems, connect you to jobs, stuff like that, like positive friends. Yeah, that's also really, really important. And also for newcomers trying to integrate into the system, it's very, very much important to socialize. Go to events, like it's summer, at least almost every weekend there is a event, a community event. Go to those, you know, engage with people you find there, engage in discussions, meaningful discussions. That's how you learn about stuff, you know. You may be there, but just by joining guys in a conversation, you learn something new, and you learn of opportunities. So it's really, really important to try as much as you can to engage with the community, to socialize, attend events, come to such meetings. It's really, really important, and it helps you as a person, like to get connection, to help you go forward. Yeah, and also self-esteem. I don't know, we do have as I don't know if it's something natural, but we Black folks have a low self-esteem. Yeah, I do have a bunch of friends who, unfortunately, they don't speak English. They do speak, they can communicate, but they are not like really fluent. But they try to be so inferior. They don't want to speak the little they know. And it's a real problem, because I see Chinese, I see Arabs, they talk really, really broken English, but they're confident, you know, and that's how they practice and they become fluent. But when it comes to us, you don't want to speak English because you feel your English is broken and stuff like that. So that really, really lags us behind. So we lack some confidence, and we cannot get confidence if we don't interact with our very own, you know? So it's really important to engage in the community, try to find information, and there's no way you will find information if you don't engage with the community. So engaging with the community is really, really helpful. Thank you.
What wonderful words of wisdom, Shamran. Thank you so much. If you agree with what Shamran just mentioned, can I say a round of applause by typing 111 in the chat? If you agree, please type 111 as a way of clapping your hands. Thank you, Geoffrey. Type 111. Vinrose, thank you. If what Shamran has said resonates, Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Duffin. Type 111. Lily, thank you, and Mark. Yes, friends, I cannot emphasize enough the need to socialize. I cannot emphasize enough, again, the relevance of, I don't know, am I sharing something? I'd given rights to sorry about that. I'd given rights to someone, I think, what's trying to share. So friends, socializing, but also building our self-esteem. Many of us cannot communicate fluently in English or French. It's okay. What matters most is here. It's not the skin color. Yeah? Shamran makes a very important point. If you see our colleagues, maybe let's give an example, the Indians or Chinese, many of them, some even don't speak any word of English. But what happens? We see them at electronics shops, in stores, yeah? They're confident, but how do we build this self-esteem and confidence? Wumi says something, and because some people are out there to take advantage of your innocence, that is a wonderful point. Some people will take advantage of those who are in vulnerable situations. Does anyone have a comment on that? Freddie, Mike, Samali, Lynn, Grace, Duffin, Lily?
Yeah.
Yes, any comments? Someone just mentioned that people are not confident because other people take advantage of their vulnerabilities.
Yeah, true, because considering the mere fact that we are in a new world, it's more like we are trying to build confidence. You know, building confidence around you as you try to network with other people. So anything that deviates from such efforts honestly destroys the confidence. I strongly agree with that. We don't have the same resilience. We don't undergo the same situations. Different issues affect us. So you may find that even if for anything that somebody thinks it's a small issue, it will affect another person. So I agree.
Thank you, Lynn, for your contribution. Lynn is in agreement. It says people are not confident because older comers, if I can use the word, we explore their vulnerabilities and we don't treat them well. And so people will not come out to such meetings. Do we agree?
Okay, Henry, are you done?
Yes, Mary.
Thank you for the privilege. One thing I've realized is that we the Blacks, if I should put it in that way, we don't love ourselves. Let me give an example, a personal example. I came to Canada in 2016 by my own sister. She brought me here as a visitor. And when it got to, I came to take care of her son so that they can have a little bit of freedom and do work and, you know, cater for themselves. So when the time came for me to, let's say, go back and maybe come back inside so that I don't go against the rules of Canada, they didn't tell me anything. They didn't tell me I have to leave and come back after 6 months. All those rules, they knew about it, but they never told me anything. So the long short of the thing is that they asked me to go back home, whilst I have lost everything back home, because I was a teacher back home, and my how do I put this? My social, let me put it this way, my SIN number start from this. So I have to go through here. So good feminine residents. So what I'm trying to say is that we don't ourselves in a way of helping one another, you know, come out from a situation. It's just that everything is for them, selfish and all. So I believe what they're saying is true. Because of our innocence, people try to, you know, take advantage of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And Mary, before you get off the phone, thank you for sharing your story. Do you want to share, if you don't mind, the country you were born? Many people here are from Uganda. I know you were from West Africa, but do you mind sharing? Your network is disconnecting. Mary's reception is not good, and we've lost her. Mary will come back.
From Ghana.
Yes, Mary's from Ghana. I knew that, but I wanted her to say it herself. So thank you for sharing. There is a very important comment that just came. Yes, Mary, you're back. You can unmute yourself. You're muted.
Yes, please, I'm back.
Yes, you're going to tell us that country that you had to return and then come back.
Okay, so I'm from Ghana. I'm a Ghanaian.
Thank you for sharing and welcome. So friends, again, let's note that at times it's not strangers. It can be your friend, it can be your own sister or brother who may not really give you the information that you need. Let's take maybe 2-3 comments, and then we're going to go into a breakout session, and then we will come back and wrap up. I know some people are comfortable sharing in small groups than in bigger groups. So 2 questions or comments?
And can I contribute, please?
Before Juliet, let me read out this one that first came in from Fred. Fred says that it's true. People exploit the vulnerabilities of others, and specifically says that sometimes lawyers take advantages of our desperation, and it lowers our self-esteem. Lawyers are supposed to help us. Lawyers take advantage. I just had a lawyer here, but she just went off summarily. I wanted her to see if she can help with that question. But friends, what do you think? Do lawyers take advantage of us when we're in desperate situations? And someone has even commented that many of us here have lost our immigration hearings without their lawyers. Many here are so lost, many here are so lost without their lawyers. That's a huge statement. We are desperate.
Henry,
yes, Charles?
Can I just chip here?
Yeah, chip in with that, and then we'll get to Juliet.
Sure. So hearing all this, I think is very unfortunate, and it's it really pains you to the core. And I think people are vulnerable. People don't know the system, the legal system, the dynamics, and the different moving parts of how they can navigate the system. But I think it will be important for us to I think there's additional kind of context in terms of how lawyers take advantage and exploit newcomers. But now to newcomers, I'm also a newcomer as well, put it that way. But I think it will be important if you know people around to really guide you. And the lawyers are guided by the Law Society, and there are certain ethical standards that they have to really stay up to and maintain and uphold. And there's a way of process that, if somebody clearly is taking advantage and isn't providing support, Canada is not like other many African countries where they can do whatever they do and they don't have any kind of reprisal or certain actions to be, to make sure that all the professional ethics are taken into consideration. But it's important for us as a people to support the vulnerable or those who come forth and get support to how they can be guided and where lawyers can be held accountable. I think that's important. And the other piece as well, in terms of self-esteem, we all have our different self-esteems and so forth. But again, it's how you relate and who are the people you meet to help you build this kind of self-esteem. And one thing, I'm going to be quite frank, I'm going to throw the spanner into the wheel. People's self-esteem, the onus is on you. How do you build it? How do you build that self-esteem? I'm going to be a little bit blunt with this. You have to be your own driver, sitting that driver's seat and holding it and building your own self-esteem. You can have a little bit of some support around you, but it's important for you as a person. The onus is entirely on you to build a self-esteem. Another thing I'm going to add before I wrap up, it has been mentioned a little bit, there's power of networking. In this country, the power of networking is very, very important. I know I come from North, I come from Gulu, and in my culture, trying to network with people, at times you feel, oh my God, what are they going to think? Am I begging and so forth? So we have this kind of pride. And we think that, I'd rather be a Mukopi, in my own situation, but in myself, I need to be a king or a queen. So there's that kind of element where it really, that pride impedes on how we can network. So I've realized when I came to this country, I had that pride of reaching out and networking, and I missed so many different opportunities. But the moment you begin learning how to network, I can tell you, we have living testimonies. We have, I'm a living testament to that effect as well. Power of networking is very crucial. Network and know how to network. You don't have to network with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Be intentional and be targeted who you can network with, and people can propel you to get to a different level. So those are my 2 cents I would just try to add. And one of them is more of throwing the spanner into the wheel. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Charles. Charles, you didn't tell us where you're calling from.
So I'm calling from Brampton.
Okay, so we have 2 people from Brampton. The networking is beginning. Mary, you're not alone. Yes, so welcome, Anthony Kadu. And I see the chat is buzzing. Maybe I'll ask Geoffrey in a moment to read the 2 comments for me. But let's first hear from Juliet. And kindly, Geoffrey, help me read the 2 comments after Juliet. Yes, Juliet, your question or comment.
Thank you so much, Henry. My comment is so brief. I'll concur with Mary. I don't know what, I will not say Ugandans because we are more than Ugandans here. I don't know what Black people have. I don't know what we have in our hearts. For sure, we don't like each other. We don't love each other. We don't feel for each other. I have a living experience, like when I came into this country, that's 18 months ago. I came by myself. My sister tried to connect to an old friend. My sister is not here, she's in Italy. So she tried to connect me to a friend whom I didn't know. Just to say that friend of hers helps me pick up from the airport. We connected so well. When I reached the airport, she put off her phone. I was stranded. But I was really wise enough. I ended up in the shelter. And like 3 weeks after, 3 weeks in the shelter, I went for a conference somewhere, I can't even remember it, but it was at Shepherd West, organized by, I think she's a lady from Kenya. That's where I met a Ugandan, the first Ugandan I saw. She introduced herself as a paralegal. I really liked her. I thought I had resurrected. That was the first Ugandan I saw. She became close to me. She was my good friend. I trusted her. I really liked her. She took me to her house. I was like, oh my God, this is my sister. Little did I know she was She knew me so fast. Then she was like, I was a spy. She was telling everybody that I was a spy sent here by the Museveni government. I was so like, so one of her friends, I think, got my number from her phone, then sent me a message. He was like, be careful, the person you call your friend says you're a spy. And you should never go to any Ugandan community because she's a noob. So she has told everyone as you are spying. I was so frustrated. I hated myself. I hated all the Ugandans in this country. But when I sat down, I was like, no, I need people around me. That's why I got out. I went and started volunteering everywhere. I really, like Charles says, I really networked on my own. I think the only meetings I've so far attended on Zoom, Henry, it's only your meetings that I attend because I fear people. So I think we need to change, like, I don't know, we can't change everyone, but people who have lived here longer, even if you have lived here like more than 3 years and I've lived here for 18 months, we need to uplift each other. We need to feel for each other. Other than that, we shall remain as we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, again for being vulnerable enough to share your story. Very painful. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but also finding comfort by sharing that, it helps relieve the pain. So friends, those who have been here a little longer, I think the task is not only those who have been here longer. Let's treat each other as human beings, whether you know me or you don't. I think that's the call Juliet is trying to emphasize. We have a few comments, and Brother Geoffrey is going to help me read them to the audience, and then we'll go into small groups of about 4 or 5. Geoffrey, please help me. What are people saying in the chat?
Let me see, starting with not only lawyers, anybody here, as long as you are an immigrant, if you don't know your rights or info, they will take advantage of you. The other one is most people give out false information as well. So we have to make sure we get the right information from the right source. Thank you. Please, how often are you planning to hold this Zoom meeting? Then the other one is networking is okay, but the pandemic has affected it. So I do appreciate Henry for this kind of forum where we meet and discuss a few important issues. Okay, and the other one, thanks Mariam for the kind words. Mary and Fred, your comments will be read out. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. I think those are very wonderful comments from people that it's not only the lawyers, people take advantage of others when they're vulnerable, but also giving out false information. As we try to get to the strategies, you know, we can all share different experiences where we've been hurt during the epidemic and all that. But also we want to get some strategies or solutions. What can we do? So I want you to go into small groups. And in these groups, I'm going to divide you. And what you're going to do is to come up with 2 things that we can do to address the problems that we have highlighted. Each group will come back and share those 2 things, and then we wrap up. Wumi, your question around how often, we are trying to get a board for New African Canadians, and we have been meeting for several months. So we are hoping probably we'll have these dialogues maybe once in 2 weeks or somewhere there. We also want to coordinate with our sister organizations that work on issues around supporting newcomers and immigrants. So maybe how you got this information, you can send me an email or you can drop me a line on WhatsApp and introduce yourself. I'm going to leave my WhatsApp number, and we can be able to chat. So we are going to go into the groups. So everyone, when you get into the group, again, look at two solutions. You can briefly introduce yourselves and two solutions. You have about 7 minutes to do this, beginning now. Hello, Mary. You came late and I haven't assigned you to the group. I will assign you later. Hello, Mary. Hello, Mike, Bwekembe, Nengelise, and Mary.
Yes, Henry.
Have you started your group? I can't hear you talk.
No, I haven't. Oh.
Yes. Oh, no. I think you're not assigned. I'll assign you to group number 2.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Finished my documentation. I already finished my hearing, and I'm seeing signs. I think soon I'll be receiving my PR card. Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
Just
nice
wanted
to
to
meet
check
you.
in. I hope you're doing well. 7 minutes
Yeah.
again. Okay. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah,
Nice
Mary.
to meet you, Julie. Hi,
Hi,
Godfrey.
Mary.
My name is Mary, and this is my son. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi, Mosukulu.
Yes. So
Yeah, I'm also a newcomer. I finished my hearing, glory to God. I'm just waiting for my PR. Yeah, and I'm studying.
oh, you are welcome, Mary.
Thank you.
So to the problem of like Juliet said, she fears people. Yeah, that was scary. The experience you met, scary. But you know, it's not everybody behaves like that.
Yeah.
Like me, when I came, I was very welcomed, given good referral to the church, people meeting me. So it's not everybody like that. So I think one way to solve that is to kind of inquire to find out some reputable organizations.
That's
so
so true.
You can start with non-Ugandan organizations, but gradually you can also find, like we have our churches, they are very welcoming. You can start with those, and then those can lead you to the right people.
Yeah.
Hello, friends. How's it going?
Good. We don't know what we're doing though.
I just added Gerard to your group, but I just wanted to remind you we have 7 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, so what are we doing, Henry, though? What are we doing?
Were you listening?
No. I was in and out.
Solutions to the problems. 2 solutions to the problems that we've talked about. We don't want to only talk about problems. How do we handle this?
Okay.
Yes. And you can briefly tell Gerard what we have talked about. I'll see you back. I'll come back as you wrap up, and we go back to the main group. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gerard. My name is Mark Luvulwa, and I think in the main chat, briefly, people were trying to digest the various challenges the newcomers face when they just come here. The most recent issue was on exploitation. Okay, someone actually, Council Gerard, someone brought it in your context. I think this person went wherever they went, and their lawyer didn't do for them a good service, and they were a bit of complaining. However, they were advised the exploitation is not, it's not actually through the lawyers that they exploit you, but everybody will want to take advantage of a newcomer who doesn't know their rights, including employers.
One, then we get to another problem, and then we find a solution so that we know the way we are going about.
Hi guys, just checking in how things are.
Yeah, all good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll be
Sorry.
right back. I was just checking in to see how things are. Thanks. Continue. Sorry for interrupting, Sam.
No problem.
Oh no, I had already made my submission, and Shamran is leading the team.
Excellent.
Is that their degrees back home not really I cannot really find yourself in the labor market, but it depends on what kind of qualification. Like for those who've done education, I did social sciences in Makerere, but I came here and I got into social works. It was a little bit easier. But for lawyers in medical field, so they have to go through a different sets of accreditation process.
Yeah.
But getting the right people to provide you the right advice is critical. So I think that's number one issue.
Hi guys, I was just checking in to see how you are. I'm happy the discussion is going on.
Well, thank you for sneaking in.
Yes, Daphne, I can see you're contributing. I'll come back later as we wrap up, and then we go back to the main group.
So at least we have 1 point. So we'll hear from maybe Fred and from Daphne and Wekembe.
All right.
And Vinross.
Settlement. So when all these agencies are working towards settlement, you cannot take it as a problem because it is too broad. It is covering everybody else's attention. So to get ideal solutions, we need to be explicit on what the problem is. It has to be as specific and explicit as possible so that we get a solution addressing that problem. When we talk of integration is what the whole of Canada is struggling with. We have more thousands of charity agencies working towards settlement. Yes, so what specifically are we talking about when we talk about when we want to identify a challenge, a problem, and then determine a solution to that?
So what are your thoughts, guys? Like which problem should it be?
Okay, Mr. Henry.
My eyes. Actually opening. My eyes.
What's that? What's the card? What's the heat on the card?
Just
so there are a range of them. We call them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm asking so you guys can share, and then we'll pick from those.
Yes. So sorry, I was leaving, and then someone called my name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was asking about them on board. Which what problem is it that we are supposed to look into? I think we are that we didn't get
I think one thing, for example, Mary, you talked about was around people giving false information. Shamran talked about people having low self-esteem. Yeah. Sam talked about, he's here to listen because there's so many mental health stressors. So amongst that, if we can look at how do we address them? either on an individual basis or community level or organization. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Just, and then we will be wrapping up shortly.
All right.
Yes. So you have about a minute or two.
Okay. Hey guys.
I think we are clear on that.
wake wange so abantu abamu n'abanga information eyo bw'awulira nti bw'agigabirawo aba awulira nti ate omuntu oyo agenda muyitako.
1 minute.
Abantu abo banayo. Okay.
Mbajjukiza, we'll be back in 1 minute. I'll just be ending and automatically you'll come back to the big meeting.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
So tukibawo kwaba abantu.
Anthony.
And you need to know something about that is connected to the bank. Be confident enough, even if your English is not good, just enter, tell them what you want, and they'll help you out.
That's
I
right.
just wanted to remind you that we're about 1 minute away and we'll be going back to the main group.
Okay, good. Yeah, yes, we've progressed well.
Excellent. I love the conversation.
Yeah, I think, yes, we are ready to go back there.
Okay, let me get one.
So, obuzibu obusinga okubeera buli wamu nti.
So we have about a minute to wrap up. Tugenda ku group.
Obuzibu obuliwo buliwe buti nti abantu abasinga bagenda ne bakola consultation n'abantu abakyamu. Ayina legal matters, then n'agenda ku muntu akola mu care, oba omuntu akola mu factory, oba omuntu akola eby'amazzi. Kakati omuntu oyo bw'akuwa advice eyo, sometimes tesobola kubeera correct kubanga si professional ye. Okitegeera ne weesanga nga bakukubye naye kikukubizza kubanga nti walimyo ogenda mu bakugu bennyini n'osalawo okola shortcut. Okiraba ate ng'ekireetera ekyo kubanga bw'anaagenda ewa lawyer ajja mugamba mpa $10,000 oba $2,000 consultation. Kadeide yajja amugamba nti nze mpa $200 ogwo nja gukola. Okitegeera agukole gutuuke mu maaso gumuleme akomewewo ate omugereeta $5. So bwe buzibu obusinga okubeera mu kintu kino naye nga sirabawo nti nno abantu tebamanyi kyakukola. They do. Naye abasinga bajja ne ba-approaching aba professional n'amubuulira ssente ze oli n'azigaana n'asalawo agenda akozesa abakyamu. Kitegeera.
Hello, friends. Welcome back. I hope that was a wonderful conversation. How was it?
Good.
Beautiful.
Okay, can you type 222 if you thought that was a wonderful conversation? Type 222 in the chat. I want to see who is there. Thank you, Geoffrey. Thank you, Wumi. I want to see 22. Mary, Daphne, Mariam, Grace, Michael, Anthony, Lynn. Thank you so much. So, friends, we are running out of time, but it seems this has been a good conversation. So we would like to hear what those strategies were. So if we can hear from, I don't remember the groups, there were 4, but I think I'll call out names. So Juliet, your group, what did you come up with?
It's Geoffrey sharing.
Yes, so yes.
Was our chairman.
So
Okay,
in our group, so yeah, we got 2 points plus a bonus point. So we have 3 points. So as a strategy, we said, look for reputable organizations that you will get information from. Look for opportunities to volunteer and for internships. Look for information from the right places, for example, banks, other than relying on friends and other people. So those are the 3 points we pointed out.
Thank you very much, Geoffrey's group. Getting organizations that are reputable, banks, for example, and also volunteering. Thank you.
Volunteering and internship opportunities.
And internships.
Yes.
And internship opportunities. I hope you'll be sending those write-ups, please, to me. I didn't tell you, but please send them to me.
Okay, yes, I will.
Yes. Let's hear from Lily, your group.
We talked, did you say Lynn?
Okay, Lynn, yes, I think Lynn or Mark. I see Mark.
Well, Mark gave a good observation, and it was like, it's always important to look around for information for an issue that concerns you before you go out to meet the people that you will need service from. His advice is to be well equipped with information, always.
Mhm.
Mm.
So that was one, information, and then look out for things that concern you. Anything else that you discussed?
Well, it's more that was it, and it's important to me.
Okay.
Mm.
Little.
Yes,
I
Mark?
mean, we need to summarize.
Yeah. Okay, on that, we particularly said, try to use your Google search as much as you can, because I believe at least the biggest percentage of people who are able to come here, I'm not saying there aren't those who can't use Google search, but the advice was to always look for prior information so that before you go to a service provider, you know at least what to expect from them, you know? At least if you know you're going to look for a lawyer, at least there is a list. For example, a list of immigration lawyers who are licensed, who are authorized. I mean, look out for this person on the government website, whether this person actually exists as a licensed lawyer. If you want to rent a house, okay, look out for price ranges that are at least listed on various search engines that will tell you a room in this particular area goes for around this and this amount. So try to look for prior information before you go to any service provider, so that by the time you approach them, you know what to ask for and you know what to expect from them. Also, Councillor Gerard, on the issue of lawyers, he said from his observation, many people are coming to him after being cheated, that is, if they're actually cheated, simply because they need legal services, but they go to plumbers, they go to electricians for legal knowledge. So his point was, it's not common that a professional and licensed lawyer will deny professional services to his clients. But instead, these people, when you go ahead and investigate the kind of lawyers they went to, these are not actually lawyers. So please, the whole point is look for genuine people. Like if you want genuine services, go to genuine people. Otherwise, the principle of capitalism is who uses who. And if you're not using anybody, you're being used. We are in a typical capitalistic world. So we need to own our situations before we blame anyone. We need to bear an internal locus of control. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you, Mark, and your team, and Gerard and Lynn and the rest. You talked about equipping ourselves as well as utilizing Google. Please, can you send me those final notes if you don't mind? Let's get to the next group. I think it had Charles and Anthony, and I don't remember.
So Anthony was our note taker and is going to present on our behalf.
Okay.
So Anthony, there you go.
Anthony, please tell us your name if you joined us late and where you're calling from.
Okay, thanks, guys. I'm called Anthony Kadu. I'm calling from Alberta. Excuse me, came in late.
Where in Alberta, sir?
Right now, I'm in a city called Fort Mac.
Fort McMurray, Alberta. Welcome.
So basically what we discussed about, we talked about basically most challenges that new people face when they come into this country was information, lack of right information. And the lack of right information, we addressed it to trying finding the right people or joining the right associations or groups. So the right association or groups, we quoted one like the New African Canadians that we are in right now. And then also making friends. We talked of the point that you can make friends, new friends every day. If you find that friend that you asked for directions to go for, maybe for an interview for a job or for a connection for immigration lawyer, and he doesn't really give you the best advice, or just know that person is not right for you, then you go ahead and look for someone. So I would say, yeah, basically, also we talked about, Charles brought a point that some of us come here and we lack information on maybe where to start, what job to do. Our qualification is our qualification able to take us to another level in here in Canada? Can we study, or can we go to school, or can we find a job with our qualification from back home? That is something that we addressed, and we discussed and say that finding the right information and talking to the right people. Some people get jobs with their qualifications back home, or others get into school and find higher education and we get the Canadian experience. But all that came back to one thing, is to finding the right people and going to those services. Basically, that's all we kind of mentioned. It was around the same point of information, but yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Anthony, and your team. Information is power. Please kindly type those things and send me to my WhatsApp. And lastly, I know we have a minute to end, but the last group, I think, was that Shamran? Is that yours?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Mary, if you don't mind, can you send me your number and I can add you to my list? Yes, Shamran.
Yeah, our group also came up with two problems and solutions. So there was a problem with information, and then the solution to that was seeking and compare information. And in the first place, try to seek information from a reputable organization, reputable sources, and then compare those with other sources. So if they are similar, that gives you like a heads up that that's good information. So the other thing was low self-esteem, and the solution to that was the only way to gain self-esteem and confidence is engage in volunteering and also attend open events and network with and do a lot of network with the people around you. And then from there, you can narrow that to network with people with whom you have common interest with. Yeah, that was it, Henry.
Thank you, Shamran. Again, networking and people connecting with people with the same interests. This has been a very wonderful discussion. So friends, I know we've run out of time. It is 7:31, according to my clock. But maybe I want to wrap this up by saying this is not the last. I hope people have been energized. I know some people want us to continue, but this is just the beginning. I'll tell you briefly why we thought this topic is important. Some leaders here, including Mark, Samuel is not here. Some have been helping us for the last maybe 2-3 years to put together a program for New Africans in Canada under the organization New African Canadians. So last year, we registered this nonprofit. We don't have any funding. You can't look for us on Google because we don't have a website, but we believe our volunteers are doing amazing things. We are hoping that some of these conversations can inform the next phase of really getting to know how these things can be put together and into a grant that we can apply for funds that are always returning without being used. And so I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Our next conversation will be 2 weeks from now. So 2 Fridays from now. If you have a calendar, please put it in your diary. It will be 2 weeks from now. I don't have the actual date, but I really invite people to send me a message or join the WhatsApp group for New African Canadians and share your thoughts, because we believe that together we can address issues that have been brought not only by COVID, but the systemic barriers that we have encountered. So I invite maybe 1 or 2 people to share their final thoughts, and we will close. Anyone who feels they have anything to share. Juliet is saying it's been very energizing. Okay, Lutwama, Mike?
Yeah, I was just saying thank you for the meeting. It was a nice part of the day. It's a good thing to know. And thanks for everyone who managed to share. Be blessed.
Thank you very much. I should note that there are people who haven't shared anything in the big group, but you will be amazed. In the small groups, people were contributing. I was in all the 4, and you can see the power of getting together. People were sharing, people were connecting. And that's the beauty of, having small groups. It builds people's confidence. So from this side, by the way, it is 8:35 where I am currently. I am in Prince Edward Island, which is the east. We are happy to have been joined by someone in Quebec, and then someone from Alberta. We have so many of us in Ontario, Scarborough, Brampton, our friends from Ghana, people from North York, Etobicoke. Thank you very much. I want to give Mr. Nsamba the last word, a counsel, a good friend, and a community leader. Mr. Nsamba, your final words as we wrap up this conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Ryombi, and thanks to everybody. I'm sorry I just came late, but at least I managed to reach. So I had some of the conversations you guys explored within your groups. They are very informative, very encouraging, and I encourage you to continue doing that. However, those who are newcomer to this country, my message to you is always approach the right people. How do you know the right people? If you need a lawyer or the matter you have, they belong to the lawyers or their legal matters, you need to seek lawyers. Don't go to your friends, because for instance, some people, they will come to you and say, oh, my friend just finished his hearing and he told me this and that. Please do not depend on them. They are not professionals. Yes, they are lucky. Maybe they went through their immigration hearing successfully, but it does not mean you will be in the same position like them. Each case is dealt differently, and they will never tell you exactly how they are successful with their application or with their hearing. So deal with the lawyers if the matter concerns lawyers. 2, if you come to this country, please don't take shortcuts. You will not succeed here. There's no shortcut in Canada. No matter how quickly or angry or frustrated you are, once you come here, you make this country as your home, no shortcut, okay? The bottom line is go to school. Even if you come with a PhD from your country, even if you're a cardiologist, you're a lawyer or that, you still have to go through the accreditation process. If they require you to go back to school, go back. Even if it takes you 10 years, you are not here in competition with anybody. You're here for your family, for yourself, for your own security. That's why you came here. Work hard, you make it. But if you want to be those people who come here and say, oh, I want to build a home, a beautiful house back home, and then you do these odd jobs, before you know it, you have a back problem, you have knee problem, you have like all the joints, because you cannot last in those jobs for a longer time. But if you go to school, and even if you go to school, speak to the people who have been here, especially the professionals, to tell you exactly what professions or occupations have demands. Some people have gone to school and they have the degrees here, but they're still working in some, occupations where they are still being paid with a low minimum wage. But they are educated, but they chose the wrong programs because they wanted shortcuts. Don't do that. If you want to be a lawyer, they tell you it will take you 8 years. In Canada, somebody to become a lawyer, minimum, you've been in school 8 years. Do it. At the end of 8 years, you start charging people from $5,000 and above. But if you want to be in another occupation where you'll be competing with white people to get jobs, then you're going to be frustrated. And you'll be cursing yourself, you'll be cursing everybody because you made the wrong choice. Canada is like a big ocean which has so many fish. You choose the right net to catch the fish you want. If you want those small fish, you get it. If you want the big fish, you get it. But you just need to take time and associate yourself with the people who are very productive. There are people who have negative mind all the time. Stay away from those people. Also, do not hate somebody because Ruyombia is hated by somebody. Don't do that. You judge people individually. Okay? Because sometimes somebody will tell you, oh, this guy is bad, this guy is this, and you jump on bandwagon. No, don't do that. You carefully evaluate everybody individually to see if actually they can contribute to your life. Okay? They are good people in this community. You approach them, they'll give you good advice, how to become successful in this country, how to get Canadian papers, how to better yourself. Just approach them, talk to them. They will be there for you. But the bottom line is to go to school. Education doesn't lie in this country. I came to this country without reading ABCD. Today, I am a lawyer. And many times when I make calls to those courts or appear in court, because of the systematic discrimination in this country, some judges will say, where's your lawyer? Where's your counsel? What charges are you facing? Those are questions put it to me, but they don't discourage me. They make me stronger. Why? Because I'll tell them, actually, I'm a lawyer myself. Oh, really? Are you sure? I say, yes, I'm sure I am.
Some of us don't know you. I don't know where you are. Do you mind if you can show your face?
Well,
I think your story is powerful. Counsel Sam.
I don't mind, but my camera has some problems, so it won't be able to see me. Okay. But next time I'll have
Can you leave us your contact if some of us would like to get in touch with you?
Yes. So I'll give you my phone number is 437-245-3618. And my email address, if you need it, is Geraldine Samba. So GERALDNSAMBA14@gmail.com. So you can reach me at any time. One last point I have to make is that
before you do so, can I request someone who got that to type that in the message chat?
I think I can even type it for you guys. Oh, yeah.
I just wanted people to contribute. But yeah, yes, make your final submissions, Council Sam.
So my final submission is that when you go to someone's employment, or like, for example, if you come to my chamber and you're seeking some legal representation from me, and I give you my price, don't call it exploitation, because everybody has a different price. Some people charge less, some people charge more, but depends what they are going to give you. Okay. And two, if somebody tells you this is $4,000 I'm charging you, and you feel it's too much, you can speak to him, ask him, is there any way we could maybe compromise the payment plan? Okay. Or you could shop around, see if we could get something better. But it's not exploitation, because here is different. When you come to me and you hear speaking Luganda like you, don't think, oh, this is a Ugandan, so I can manipulate him, get what you want. No, remain professional and you get what you want, but don't get discouraged. This is a good country. There is racism. Be mindful of that. There is racism and still real, but don't get discouraged, because the law works in this country. There's rule of law. As long as you have the evidence, you overcome all those obstacles. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Samba. Wonderful comments. I'm going to charge you a fine because you've gone over, and people were supposed to end a little early, but you and I will negotiate. But those are very important points. Friends, let's try to utilize people who are professionals, but also we can negotiate instead of saying, we are being exploited. But that said, there are actually people who do exploit others, whether it is sexually or materially or in other words. Yeah, so let's also be what Mark was saying, connect with the right people, ask around, Google around, talk to people who are professionals like Musamba and Charles and Mark and Anthony and Mary and Daphne, Lukwago, Shamran, Sam, Vinrose, Annette, Lillian. Everyone here is a professional. So friends, this has been a good conversation. Someone just joined from Saskatchewan. Is that you? Do you want to say hi and we will wrap up? Angela, tell us where you are and say hi to the team before we wrap up.
Hi, I'm Angela from Saskatchewan. Sorry, I'm at work.
That's okay. Any questions or comments?
Well, I missed part of it.
But why did you decide to join even if you're at work? It shows you're dedicated.
Yes, because this is the first time I'm being part of this. So I was just wanting to check it out. But it's a good thing.
We are so many of us, and we face a lot of issues when we are new to the country. Do you have one or two things you can help us when we're new to the country, how to navigate the system? Or from your experience, what helped you when you were new to Saskatchewan?
It was not meeting the right people and knowing where to go, like following the system. I'm a believer in the rule of law, like respecting the rule of law and going the right time. Because it's not like back from where you have to write, like you go through the right channels, then you meet your need.
Thank you, Angela. It seems as if you were on the call here because all of us were talking about meeting the right people. So we have met the right person. Thank you to everyone. Friends, it's been a long evening or long day for you. I want to end on a personal note. Now that we have had this energy, and I can feel it from what people are sharing, I know we've gone over by 13 minutes and people are staying. It speaks to how committed we are. But what can we commit to do in the next 1 week to maintain our emotional stability. What can we do to help people who are struggling, people who are vulnerable, who are new to the country, people who have been impacted by COVID? I want to leave you with that question to answer in your heart, but also to invite you to do something positive, at least every day or every week. In a post that I sent out this morning, I talked about happiness. I think we all have to spend some time gratitude, because there are things that we take for granted. We may be struggling because of COVID, or we've lost loved ones in Uganda or Ghana or anywhere. We haven't gotten our hearing dates, or we've lost the immigration hearings. But again, if we spend some time giving thanks to the little things, that at least we have life, that we can meet on Zoom. Someone suggested next time we should meet face to face, which is good. I like it. But it also could be hard to get someone from Brampton, from Saskatchewan, from Alberta, Quebec, from Prince Edward Island, Scarborough, Etobicoke, name it. Much as we are still grappling with the epidemic, much as the Delta is here, we are hearing, I think we can utilize these forms of connection. Those of us who can connect face to face, we can organize those meetings and know that, you know, we can connect. So my final appeal, friends, is really to find something that you are thankful for every day. There's so many of us, so many of our friends who are not with us. They've moved to the next world. Some of our colleagues within the community are struggling for life. They are in hospitals. Many of our relatives don't have a meal a day. I think we need to be grateful. And if we do so, I believe we will not only survive, but we will thrive in this fall season and winter season and beyond. Thank you for being part of this. This weekend, the Ugandan North American Association is holding a convention. I want to bring it to your attention. I'm running to represent Atlantic Canada. Many of you could have seen my posters, like the one in the background. I thank you. I thank each and every one. People have been telling me, Henry, you're doing the good thing. Please, these are our issues. Thank you for those who have supported me financially. And if you're interested in donating, you can send an email. Our election is tomorrow and Sunday. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for supporting New African Canadians. And please know that your comments, your ideas do matter. Unfortunately, you cannot vote. There is no online voting. It's only in person. So it's in Cincinnati, Ohio. That could be another topic. People fear voting online because online people are going to vote, but they want to make it hard for people who don't have travel visas from Canada to US, or who are caught up by work. And so they're only doing it online. Sorry, they're only doing it face to face, despite the epidemic in that part of the United States, Ohio. But I am for team unity. We want fairness, transparency, and accountability. But also we want Canada to be in UNA and not only for Americans. And partly that's why I'm running. And I also want to bring some mental stability in that organization. It's a nonprofit, but man, it's like it's a personal organization. It's a few people trying to control it and getting funds from the Kampala government and trying to decide for many of us who are in North America. We want to change that. And my colleagues, Lydia Natolo and Andrew Bakasara, are running for president and vice president. I really hope you can check out more about UNA at unaonline.org. You can register to become a member. It is $50. Or you can learn more from people. Who knows, maybe next year you will be going to the next UNA convention this weekend. Thank you to everyone again. Thanks, comrades. All the best. Mbagala nnyo mwenna, for God and my country.
Mbagala nnyo, Henry.
Nange mbagala nnyo. Meeting eri officially over. Abasobola okusigalawo musigaleewo.
Bye bye.
Guys, bye.
Bye, Henry. Thanks for the meeting.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you to everyone. Tetubalabyeko faces zammwe abamu.
Banaye first tujazanula oluddako.
Lini tukulaba.
Daphne tetumulabyeko.
Ani atandaba.
Okay, tukulabye.
Kale banaye.
Kale banaye mwebale nnyo. Take care. Bye-bye.